Hi everybody, it's Rosetta here with a pick a pile, pick a card tarot reading to give you insight into whether your man is really in love with the other woman or whether he's just gone temporarily crazy. So this reading is going to be a little bit different than other pick-up piles that you may have watched because I'm not putting crystals on the cards. I want you to choose just on the basis of your feeling for each pile of cards. And you won't know yet whether this is going to be 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to number them randomly once you have a moment or two to choose which stack of cards you're interested in. And then I will, of course, timestamp each group of cards so that you'll be able to easily move ahead and find your particular reading. Okay, so meditating as you decide which stack of cards you're going to choose, meditating on the answer that you want to have or the answer that you want the cards to give you on whether your husband, significant other, man or woman in your life is really in love with the other woman or the other man if you happen to be wondering about somebody of the male gender. All right, so giving you a second. Which of these 4 stacks are you interested in? All right, everybody. So now this stack will be group 4. This stack will be group 2. This stack will be group 1. This stack will be group 3. If you are wondering a little bit about my background in tarot and who I am, I started out as a divorce healing, emotional healing coach, and my claim to fame is that I heal broken hearts. I've also been reading tarot for about 30 years now. And so I started a couple years ago to combine the two things, and I found that people were so interested in tarot readings as a standalone service. And so I started to provide just the tarot reading on various questions relating to relationships and often relating to breakups. You can find me on Instagram as The Dynamic Divorcee. And I also do a Sunday reading on Instagram where I give a forecast for the week. All right, let's get onward with your cards. Starting with group 1. There's 6 cards in each stack. And let's see what these cards have to say. Group 1 is my person. And usually I'm going to say, is my man in love with the other woman? And here's the reason why. 99% of people who come to me are women. My client base always has been women. Okay, so let's line these up where you can actually see them all. But please also feel free to change the genders around any way that you see fit. But I'm going to read these as if a woman is asking the question because in my world, I'm usually reading for women. All right, so let's see what we have here. I'm going to hold each card up so you can easily see it. First card is the High Priestess. Who does that refer to? We'll know in a minute. Second card is the Six of Cups. Third card is the Seven of Pentacles. Fourth card is the Hanged Man reversed. Guys, I'm reading today with the Rider-Waite-Smith Centennial deck, and it's a mini size, a small size deck. It's a great travel deck. I'll link to this deck in the description. And then we have as the fifth card the Two of Cups, and the final card of this pile is the Chariot. Okay, so right away I'm seeing two 7 cards in this reading. I'm seeing 2 cards that are talking about love and affection. And so now I'm going to say that this High Priestess card, who does it refer to? Because God, it could refer to you, it could refer to the other woman. I'm saying here this is referring, unfortunately, to the other woman. And that she's got some kind of uncanny hold over your man. It's more than just an attraction. It's almost like she's cast a spell over him. So what else is happening here? What is he feeling? I'm going to take these 2 cards together. See if I can get them both under the camera. So he's feeling at first an emotional affair, like a friendship and an affection for this person. I would not be surprised if they had met at work perhaps, or they've met somewhere doing a similar activity. And at first it was a friendship. But at this point where we are in the process, yes, he is in love with the other woman. But, does that mean this is going to be a long-standing love? Again, I'm bearing, I think, bad news here, because from these 6 cards, what I can see here is that, yes, we have the Chariot. He's going to move forward with this. And one of the reasons, let's relate it back to this other 7 card that we have here. So let's relate them to each other. Yes, he's ready to move forward with this, or at least he is determined, hell-bent on moving forward with this relationship. And here we have his feelings, and then we'll tie this together as a story. But as we look at this card, and we can take these 2 together. As we look at this card, he's looking over his life's work so far, and he's feeling like, what did I really get out of all of this? It might be in some cases, if this rings true to you, then take this as your own message. But he might have felt a real lack of appreciation in your relationship. He feels he's doing all of this, he's working hard, what's he getting out of it? And then the reason, and a reinforcement for why I interpret this card this way, is the Hanged Man. So he's felt, let's look at it right side up. He's felt, he's totally innocent. He's just a saintly guy. And yet, why is he not getting everything that he wants out of life? And so through this woman, he feels like he's being cut down from the tree. He's finally free. So let's go one by one in light of this. Here's the other woman. She's definitely cast a spell over him. That, not that he wants to escape from it, but he almost couldn't escape if he wanted to. In fact, he's seeing that she is his escape from everything that was wrong in his life. Started out as perhaps an innocent friendship, but he started feeling more and more dissatisfied about what he was getting in return for what he was giving. He's now feeling like he's being set free, and he is in love with the other woman. This is often a card of marriage. He wants to move forward with this. So what can you do in this circumstance? I think this is a reading where you have to let go, find what you can learn from this relationship, and maybe in a future reading pretty soon, maybe we'll talk about what are your chances to try again. But if you're going to try again, at this point you're going to be trying again with another person. So sorry in this reading to be the bearer of a little bit of bad tidings here, but that is my reading for pile number 1. Let's go to pile number 2. Okay, so these are the cards for number 2. Let's lay them out, see what we have. We have Temperance. We have the Two of Pentacles reversed. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the Nine of Swords. And we have the Queen of Wands. All right. Let's go through them one by one. But you have Temperance. So this is balance in all things. So a little bit of background on this card is this is not a man who makes rash decisions. Okay, but what does that mean for this reading? Two of Pentacles reversed. Let's turn it right side up so you can get a better look. Okay, so he's been juggling a couple of different things in his life, a couple of different desires or projects or things that he wants to see fulfillment on, and he has not been seeing the fulfillment of these things. So this has nothing to do with the affair, but this is giving a little bit of background. Here's a man who likes balance. Here's a man who has not been able to find balance lately. So we have the Ten of Cups. This is a person who wants the fulfillment of love. He wants the happy family. And he's feeling like he has not been able to have the happy family yet. This could be a situation where he wanted to have children and perhaps you did not want to, or there's been a disconnect between the type of life that he envisioned having and the type of life he has been having. Ace of Wands. So he definitely wants a new beginning, or he's having a new beginning. But the question is this beginning with the other woman, or is this new beginning with you? And I think in this particular stack of cards, we've got a little more hope than what we saw in the previous. All right, and so here we have the Nine of Swords. Here's what it looks like face up. In this particular reading, who does this refer to? Now, definitely it's referring to you, but it does this this feeling of waking up in the middle of the night, crying, totally totally grieving, totally suffering. Does it refer to you both, or does it refer just to you? And so here we are with the Queen of Wands. So this is a wonderful, balanced woman. This is the good companion to a man who's temperate in all things and balanced in all things. So this is the great companion for this man. But does it represent the other woman, or does it represent you? So let's go and tell the story here. All right, we already know this is a man who wants balance, who does not want drama, who wants life to be smooth, who wants life to be happy. We see this because here we're looking at the Ten of Cups. We're seeing this is his ideal vision of his life and the kind of partner he wants to have, the kind of life that he wants to have. And I strongly suspect he wants children to be part of this as well. And he wants a happy family to be part of this. And he has not experienced that so far. He's maybe has experienced part of it. He may have had success in his career. Certain things are going right, but he has that nagging feeling that something is wrong. Now, we don't any place in the 6 cards see a depiction absolutely of the other woman. We just see what he has not had that he wants and what he does want, and we see the kind of personality that he is. So he wants to start fresh. He definitely wants to do that. How involved is he with the other woman? We don't know. And this, I think, is very good news for you. I think this is representing that he has suffered as well. You are definitely suffering, but he is suffering. But he wants this type of person who is not the opposite of his personality, but who is the companion of the heart and mind to his personality. I think you can start over, but I think you need to look at, do you want to be the kind of person he would be happy with? Will that make you happy too? So I think that's the message. I think if you chose this second stack of cards, then that's the thing for you to meditate and think over. I think there's room to talk. I think there's room to reconcile, perhaps. But both people need to be happy if you are going to go forward. Okay, so that's pile number 2. I think that's fairly hopeful. Because this pile of cards is, you're not going to be leaving wondering what happened in my life. You're going to know what happened, and you're going to have a role in that decision. All right, so here we go to the third stack of cards. Let's take a look. All right, we have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Star reversed. Oh, we've got some 8s. This is interesting. Okay, so we have the 8 of Cups reversed. We have the Magician. We have the 4 of Pentacles. And we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, so interesting that as the 6th card of this stack as well, we had a Queen winding up the cards of the second stack, and we also have a Queen winding up this stack. So let's look at the cards one by one and see what we have. All right, we have the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So the theme of all 3 of these readings so far has been hardworking men who are dissatisfied. Well, I think that's one of the things that causes a lot of stress in marriages, right? Or in relationships, if you are not if we're not talking about marriage, but we're talking about a relationship. So you can see as we hold this right side up, he's getting to the point where he is reaching a very good place in his career, but something has happened. So this could almost be the card of someone who has been having real career difficulties that may have brought problems into the marriage as well. And we have the Star. So 17 of the major arcana, the Star. And I see this as possibly representing both of you. So there were a lot of hopes and dreams. They certainly have not worked out the way you had wished them to. And now we move on to the 8 of Cups reversed. Let's take a look at this right side up. Once again, here's someone who had a lot of hopes and dreams, some of them dreams of love, some of them dreams of other desires. And even though this person has achieved a lot of what he had wanted to do, he's still so dissatisfied, and he's going off looking for something else. So this is a card of a person who has gotten him or herself into trouble through an affair, but we received this card in the reversed position. So I think this person is not head over heels in love with the other woman, and maybe is reconsidering a mistake. This doesn't necessarily mean that he wants to come back into your relationship, but let's see what's going on with the cards as we keep proceeding. And we have the Magician. So is this you, or is this the man in the situation, or the other person in the situation? And we have the 4 of Pentacles. Yeah, security is very, very important to this person. So this is something cards are wanting you very much to be aware of. He's worked hard. He's having difficulties right now. Security is the number 1 to him. And now we have the Queen of Swords bringing up the last card. And I'm just intuitively feeling strongly that, that this represents the other woman. And the reason I feel that is because we see him turning away from walking out of your relationship. But as we tell the story, as we go back to the first card and tell the story, I think this has more to say to us than just that. It may represent the other woman who is now dissatisfied with him, and so he's just meeting dissatisfaction wherever he goes. So let's take them one by one. All right, we already had said this is representing your husband or the person you're in relationship with. And there's difficulties in his career. He's worked hard. There's a promotion he hasn't gotten. Perhaps he's been terminated and he doesn't know where to go in his career after this, but he's definitely feeling a lot of insecurity. Both of you may have been disappointed in where you thought you would be in life at this point. And these two cards are telling me that these were important circumstances that caused him to look elsewhere. But this hasn't brought him quite the happiness he was expecting also. So I'm thinking this is an affair that he may still be involved in, but he is not head over heels over this woman. So because of these three cards, really relating a lot to the person in question, the person who has stepped out of the relationship, I believe strongly that this card is representing you and your power in this situation. So, for instance, if you have not been working and he's been carrying the entire burden, can you step up? Can you show greater understanding for what he's going through? Do you still want him? Because you are in a position of more power than you know. You can turn this around, but do you want to turn it around? And the very important thing here is security. So as you turn the financial security piece of the puzzle around, then lots of other things in this set of cards change. He needs someone strong with him, but he needs someone also who is compassionate. I mean, we need to turn this card around. So right now, this is a card of disappointment. But as we look at the Queen of Swords, she's very capable, but she's not a warm and fuzzy person. So what I love about these, because I feel like these both can represent you. We see the sword, hold on. We see the sword here in the Magician card as one of your tools to create your life in the way you want it to be. We also see the sword here in the hands of the Queen of Swords. So can you still be true to yourself, but can you also be a strong, helpful partner with what your person is going through? Do you even want to? Because the power is in your hands here. The power is not in her hands. But just know that this security piece is so important to him. As we look at this, look, he is so scared that he's going to lose what he has. And the situation is just so stressful to him. But in answer to the question, no, I don't think he's in love with the other woman. I think he was looking for something there that would bail him out, or something that would make the pain of his life circumstances go away. And this person was not the person to do it. In fact, no person ever is. But he does need someone to be in his corner as you walk through this phase of life and be able to turn this right side up and turn your early hopes and dreams as a couple right side up. All right, moving on. to the fourth stack of cards. Here we go. Wow. All right, if you are a person who chose this stack of cards, and if you're somebody who wants vengeance, you're going to get vengeance. Hopefully, you know, you don't have that strong desire, but let's look at these cards one by one. If short answer here, if he is in love with the other woman, this is going to destroy him. Okay? All right, so we have the Five of Pentacles. And you can see, you know, it's two people, two impoverished people out in the cold. We'll talk more about this card in a minute. Knight of Cups, the Prince of Love, right? But it's upside down. So here's what he thought he was getting by being in this relationship with the other woman. But here's what he's actually getting. And we have 11, justice. So justice will be served. So most of the time in a situation like this, justice does not seem to be served. The man goes off blithely with the other woman, happy as a clam, as while the former wife struggles for years and years. This is not the case with this one. Justice will be served. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune. And we'll talk more about that later. This is neither a good card nor a bad card. It's just a card of fortunes changing, but it pairs really well with this one. He thought he was getting one thing, but ha ha ha, you thought you were so smart. Ha, you were not so smart after all, Mr. Man. All right, and now we have the Three of Swords. Heartbreak card. And we're ending up with 15, the Devil. All right, let's go into the story of these cards. All right, so right from the start, this woman has been not a good influence on him. It could mean that she's spending his money with no concern for anyone else other than herself. She certainly does not care. She definitely aware that he was in a relationship. She didn't care. She's just a train wreck, ready to go off the rails. And we already talked a little bit about this one. He thought this was, you know, just the answer to his prayers of love. Here what I'm seeing is I would not be surprised if this were a much younger woman. And we already know as we get to the third card that this is one where karmic payback is already happening. You know, he thought he was getting one thing. He's getting something completely different. The heartbreak is not only yours. The heartbreak, I would be surprised if already he wasn't having second or third thoughts of this, but he may have gotten himself in so deep he feels he cannot get out. And then we have the final card that, you know, no good is going to come from this. You know, just no good is going to come from this. So is he in love with the other woman? Gosh, I hope not, because this is already not ending well for him. This is something that he will regret, according to these cards. Okay, so now a little bit about these cards. You know, this is a reading based on what I can see at this moment. Is this a long-term answer? I always feel that these readings are good for no more than a month because things are always changing. You know, there are all kinds of people surrounding you all kinds of people who are tangentially involved in this situation, not just himself and the other woman, but this is what I see at the present time. So this one, I want to pull another card or two, because here's the thing. This reading tells what the circumstances are for their relationship, and that it's not answering definitively if he's in love with the other woman, but it almost doesn't matter because these cards are so harsh. So I would like to ask a final question. Is it worth your while at all to try to work things out with him if he should come to you and ask for that? So I'm shuffling, and we're going to pull another card or two and try to get clarity about, what should you do in this situation? Okay, so just bear with me. I like to shuffle pretty thoroughly. Okay, let's see what we have here. So the question is this worth your getting involved in terms of a possible reconciliation? Is this a person whom you might want back, who perhaps has learned the error of his ways? And we have the moon. I'm going to have to pull another card on this one, guys. So yeah, maybe, but there's always going to be some deception involved. This is letting me feel that, can you really trust this guy? I don't know based on this. This is a person who would act in this way and would be led down the garden path to his own detriment in this relationship. Not only, heartbreak is involved for just about everybody here, maybe with the exception of the other woman, because she was a wreck to start with. So she's just one who brings destruction with her. But, should you take him back? I'm going to pick one more card, guys. Okay, 8 of Wands. It's just going to be a lot of work if you do. I would say watch carefully if he tries to come back. Don't allow him back without watching for quite a long time, because I just feel here that this is not a person of the best and strongest character. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but he's easily swayed. He doesn't have the strong, good character and good sense that anyone would want to have in a life partner. Okay, guys, I had to start a new video because I maxed out my file size. So I just wanted to finish up to say you can also find out more about my tarot readings at bit.ly/tarot, TAROT 1111. And thank you for being with me.